So, with the market volatility hitting and a lot of people approaching or in retirement, and even a lot of my younger clients who are still accumulating their wealth, one thing that I hear a lot, especially now that the market has kind of blown up this idea that the market only ever goes up and that it always comes back and that things are just smooth sailing. A lot of folks say to me, "Oh my gosh, Chris, what the heck happened? I'm totally diversified. I don't get it. I have this target date fund and I have a bunch of different mutual funds and a bunch of different bond funds." And at the end of the day, and I actually have another video on it on here about SVB, and I think I'll do another one specifically about bond funds. At the end of the day, people think that stocks and bonds or bond funds makes them diversified, when in reality, all those assets, those typical traditional assets that people have had, all do the same thing, or at least they have for like the last 10 years. So this video is about true diversification and two types of diversification that most people don't really think about and how to build them into your financial plan. If I haven't met you yet, my name is Chris Reed. I'm the founder of Capital Partners Wealth Management. I do these videos to just try and bring people a little bit of education, and maybe they can use it in their own financial plan to build a better life. There will be some quizzes in the comments below if you want to know if you're on track for retirement, or if you want to know how much you're going to have for retirement, that type of thing. Feel free to fill one out. I'm getting busier and busier these days, but if I have the time, I can try and respond to that and get you an answer and see if you're on track.
So the first type of diversification that not a lot of people think about is tax diversification. How diversified are we from a taxation standpoint? So you basically have three different types of buckets where you can put money, and how you're taxed is going to differ in each of these ways. You can be taxed pre-tax, where you take your money and you fill this bucket up full of money. And then when you take the money out, you also have to pay the IRS taxes at that time. You can take your money and you can put it into a tax-free bucket where you pay the IRS now, and then that money fills up that bucket and it comes out tax-free. Or you can take your money and you can put it in. You can pay the IRS now, and when you take the money out, you can also pay the IRS again. So a lot of folks, especially in traditional financial planning, will say, well, you know what, I'm earning all my money now, so why don't I fill this bucket up with money and pull it out later and pay the tax later when I'm in retirement? Well, my first statement to them is, do you want to make less money in retirement? Is your financial plan built around the idea that you're going to have less money? Because that's none of my clients' financial plans. I want you to have more money over time so that you can do things like spend time with your family and gift to charity and do that kind of thing. The other thing to consider there is, if you're doing all this pre-tax money, where are tax rates going to be in the future? Maybe you're in the lowest tax bracket you'll ever be in. Maybe because we have to pay $40 trillion in unfunded national debt, taxes go 2 or 3 or 4 times up into the future. You could be paying the IRS later, and even though you might actually be making less money, you might actually pay more in taxes. Tax-free money is a hedge against that. If we pay money now, when taxes are at all-time lows, historically, since the 1950s, when they were 3 times as high as they are now, then we hedge against higher tax rates in the future by having tax-free money. So I have a lot of clients who work at big tech companies, and they max out their 401k by January, and then they get a bunch of stock grants and stock options and all this other money. So we really focus on using alternative investments to help create tax-free wealth so that they can advance towards their financial goals and accomplish them quicker and with more confidence that the government can't come and take a whole bunch of their money, which translates into taking a whole bunch of their time they'd rather spend with their family, time they'd rather spend working on things that bring a little bit more fulfillment. And if we fill up this bucket, which is not a bad bucket to fill up, it's a bucket that typically we get to use before we're 59 and a half. It's a bucket that has higher liquidity, but we do end up paying taxes twice. Now, the state of Washington just implemented a capital gains tax, which was unconstitutional since the beginning of our state, but now apparently is totally constitutional. So really, when it comes down to it, this is what I focus with my clients on, is building out these 3 different types of buckets and in what proportion based on where we think taxes are going to go in the future and their current needs. The second type of true diversification that people often lack in their overall financial portfolio is asset class diversification. As I will do in another video, stocks and bonds and mutual funds and all those things, that's not true diversification. What I always recommend for my clients is that they own different asset classes. Typically what that looks like is they will have risky money, and risky money in a good year, maybe we make 30% and that's awesome. And maybe in a bad year, we just got to suck it up and they lose, what, a quarter of whatever's in this bucket. So over here we have stocks. You actually have most bond funds, mutual funds, ETFs, Bitcoin, all that kind of stuff. All that stuff comes with risk. It is not that risky money is bad money. It's just that risky money does something different than the other types of money. The second type of money I recommend people have is alternative money. Here we have stuff like real estate, small businesses for business owners, people who work in the tech industry and then get out and start to contract themselves out and start their own consulting firms. All those types of things are a different type of money than risky money. So who knows? In a good year, maybe we make 10% in that money. In a bad year, we might lose 10% in that money. But what that type of money does is something that it's really hard to do in other money. This does stuff like cash flow, right? So if you start a small business or you own a duplex somewhere and that's providing cash flow, that's doing something like providing passive income for you so that you can spend more time with your kids or maybe work less hours or donate and give to charity, that type of thing. And then finally, we have safe money. Safe money is typically done by insurance companies, just like stocks, just like real estate. It's not that one of these is better than the other. It's just they all do different things. And at the end of the day, as an independent guy, I'm always reaching into the toolbox and grabbing the tool that does the best for my client. It does what my clients want their money to do. So it really doesn't matter to me where we put our money. It's about accomplishing the mission. So with safe money, we're looking to make, I don't know, maybe 12% during a really good year. And in a bad year, we lose nothing. So when you have your money properly allocated and spread out around all these buckets, and then you have your tax diversification in line, you come up with a financial portfolio that's really built to grow when the sun's out, and we want all of our buckets going up. And when the sun goes away and the rain comes out, we want to protect a bunch of our money from getting too beat up so that we have the peace of mind of knowing that kind of doesn't matter what the stock market's going to do, kind of doesn't matter what the economy is going to do. We're going to accomplish those goals. We're going to retire on time. We're going to spend time with our kids and grandkids. We're going to be able to focus on anything but money when we're out doing the really important things in life. So thanks for watching. Again, subscribe to the channel if you want to. Go to the quizzes below if I can help you out. Never hesitate to reach out to help.